Hello everyone, we are Team Orange presenting our Sprint 3 video for IT 641 Big Data Systems. We kicked off Sprint 3 of the project with a sprint planning meeting. Before starting Sprint 3, we first analyzed the mistakes committed in Sprint 2 by our team as well as other teams. We noted down the mistakes committed by our team and discussed about the solutions for them. We discovered that we missed a task in the video, though we added and completed it in Trello because of the lack of checklist. Number 2, unforeseen challenges seen during environment setup for data migration. For this, tasks depending on environment setup should be taken care by multiple people so that there is always a backup present. Number 3, proper documentation of task is required when set by multiple members so that there are no conflicts. Comment the code well if it is going to be used by multiple members. Number 4, from our experience of earlier 2 sprints, we realized that there is too much reliance on PM for meeting task deadlines. For this, we would enforce shared responsibility on meeting deadlines for tasks. We created tasks for each member to go through the videos by rest of the teams to note down what we can learn from the mistakes as well as good work from other teams for Sprint 3. After watching videos from other teams, we concluded that use good video recording and editing tool rather than relying on Windows default video recorder. Though we have been using video recording tool for our videos, it is good lesson for new members making video in future. Number 2, possible use of animations and transitions or even background music can add good appeal to the video. With all the requirements for Sprint 3 provided by our professor on hand, we as a team analyzed overall requirement of the sprint and started breaking it down into smaller tasks. As seen in the screen, all the tasks were then distributed to 4 scrums, keeping in mind that each member gets almost equal proportion of tasks and also the deadline of the task is met. This sprint planning document shows in which scrum the task falls on, whom it is assigned to, and what is the estimated duration of the task. Once the sprint planning was completed, we started working on tasks picked by team members and met for scrum meetings on time decided. We made sure deadline for tasks is met and discuss the problems seen during the tasks. Minute for each scrum meeting was created. One of the most important tasks of this sprint was to solve SQL 3 assignment using minimal number of user-defined functions and stored procedures. Since minimum number of UDF and SP was one of the major requirements of the task, our approach for this task was each member come up with their ideas to solve the task and sit together to find optimal way to reduce the number of functions. Each member came up with different ideas as planned, and we sat together to write functions that could be reused in as many queries as possible. We found some patterns in 60 queries provided. Overloading a function, we reduced the count of the functions. We were then able to solve all the queries using 11 UDFs. For example, for getting number of orders for a specific employee, customer, or product, single function num_order was created, which could take one of these 3 attributes as argument. Also, it can take for what month or year itself the number of orders is desired. This single function combined together with another function num_avg_orders designed similarly could solve 9 queries. Another approach we came up with to reduce the number of functions was by creating object with required columns in the query. Then we created table of same object type. Based on the requirement, the table could be populated for product, customer, or employee differently, hence could solve multiple queries. For example, question number 1 of each set was solved by this function. But later we realized we would end up creating 20 objects and 20 functions for 3 sets of queries, and this approach seemed less reusable than earlier one. So we continued with our first approach. We were able to solve SQL 3 assignment using same number of stored procedures, that is 11. Also, we implemented one more approach of creating package and overloading procedure as well as using dynamic SQL in this part. We were able to solve 40 queries of set 1 and set 2 which dealt with customer and employee, but because of time constraint we could not implement this approach for product. Once we were able to solve SQL 3 assignments using 11 UDFs and SPs, we converted those UDFs and SPs to make them work for SQL Server. Another important task in this sprint was to implement pivot for SQL 3 assignment. We tried covering as many queries as possible with least number of sets. We have 3 different sets for employee, customer, and product. In first set, As shown in the screen, order number, total sales, total number of product, total number of orders received, returned products, etc. are calculated for each employee. As you can see, there is a filter based on city and branch number on top left corner. Also, there is a filter which filters the result based on the order date of the order. This is same as earlier sheet, but it deals with customer. And this is the third sheet which deals with product. Also, we have created charts for visual display of data. Each member of our team has successfully migrated OS3 database to SQL Server and created referential integrity constraints too. And also we have made sure every team member has installed MySQL and ran OS2 script successfully in their system. Another task in this sprint was to convert Oracle Data Dictionary to SQL Server. For this task, we found tables or keywords in SQL Server that defines tables, attributes, and views and match them to Oracle Data Dictionary based on which data structure they define in the database, as you can see in the screen. As we have been able to accomplish all of the tasks within the deadline and there are no backlogs for tasks in any sprint, our PERT chart and Gantt chart has remained pretty much the same for this sprint. There was an in-class assignment task in this sprint. The task was to find fault in the logic calculating sales per employee along with other values as shown in the screen. We found that whenever there are three tables and there is one-to-many relationship from first table to second table and one-to-many relationship from second table to third table, aggregation on certain column by implementing join can give wrong result. So we rewrote the procedure using subquery as shown in the screen. This pretty much sums up what we have done in this sprint 3. Finishing sprint 3 in a positive note, we await for sprint 4.